So there's no UFC for a couple weeks. So now we just have to talk about cards we're looking forward to. No more UFC for the rest of the year. So a card that has just had a bunch of fights announced, some really big fights as well at that. You know, this fight's scheduled. This card's scheduled for March 9th, and there's already 11 fights on this card. So obviously the cards are not done yet, but this card is looking absolutely stacked. I'm of course talking about UFC 299, Sean O'Malley versus Cheeto Vera 2. Like, look at this card. Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page. Venom Page making his debut finally, so it turned out he did sign with the UFC. Then you got Mateus Gamrot versus Rafael dos Anjos. I don't know if that'll be a super entertaining fight, but I guess because they're both grapplers at this point. Nah, fuck. Nah, never mind. Mateus Gamrot will probably take down Rafael dos Anjos. Grapplers are always his kryptonite. Honestly, this might look similar to like the Colby fight. Mateus Gamrot sort of fights like the Colby of 155. Then we got CJ Vergara versus Asu Alamabev. Not the biggest fight, but then we have Pedro Munoz versus Kyler Phillips. That should be a good one. And then this is where all the big fights come into this. Peter Yan versus Yodong Song, or Song Yadong, whatever one you want to call him. Jeff Neal versus Ian Machado Gary has been rebooked. This was meant to happen in August on the O'Malley Sterling card, but now we got it happening now after Ian Gary beats Neil Magny. We have Curtis Blades versus J. Alton Almeida being rebooked. Really good fight there. We have Jack Della Maddalena versus Gilbert Burns, which I said was happening. I was the one who broke it. Big Marcel didn't want to give me my credit though on Twitter. You know, there's a conspiracy against me. I had Jack's manager Tim Simpson actually message me and have a go at me, saying I had incorrect information and that I had put Jack in a compromising position or some shit. He was just having a massive go at me. But anyway, that's a story for another time. But yeah, he was not happy. But it turned out I was right. It turned out I got the right date. So yeah, good job, Tim. You're killing it. Leon Edwards got the win yesterday, so congrats. But anyway, this card is stacked. And I thought I'd maybe just break down the fights that just got recently announced. Just because, yeah, I'm really hyped up for this card. So starting off with the first fight, Kevin Holland versus Michael Venom Page. This one's really interesting. Michael Venom Page, he's coming into the UFC at 36 years of age. Yeah, he'll be almost 37 by the time he fights. And I really don't think he's going to have a great run in the UFC, if I'm being honest. Michael Venom Page is a cool fighter. He's fun to watch. But he's not going to go on like a crazy run at this point in his career. I doubt it. Like, he got clearly beat by Logan Stall. He couldn't stuff a single takedown. Got taken down at will by Douglas Lima. Couldn't stuff a takedown. Like, I'm not really that excited for Michael Venom Page in the UFC. Not at this point in his career. He's 36. He can't stuff a takedown. His last fight against Yamauchi was so fucking weird. He like dented his leg with a leg kick. It was really weird. Like it just completely collapsed Yamauchi's leg. I honestly I don't understand it to this day what the fuck even happened there, but I guess that was cool. But like he's 36 years old in a wrestling heavy division. Like I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be like the Michael Chandler where he comes in and gets a big KO here over Kevin Holland. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Kevin Holland's gonna win this fight. Like the thing with Michael Venom Page is he's good. Like obviously he's very good, very flashy. Fights out of London Shoot Fighters, has that karate, bouncy karate stance and everything. But when he fights like a step up in competition, he always seems to lose. Like he can't just go run through these guys. And Kevin Holland has a fucking granite ass chin, so I'm pretty sure Kevin Holland's really gonna get this one done. I think he's gonna catch Michael Venom Page. I know he's a striker and everything, but I can just see him with his bouncy, hands down style. I can sort of just see Kevin Holland cracking him, especially if Michael Venom Page is just sort of standing. If it's just Michael Venom Page just having a staring contest, I think Kevin Holland can offensively wrestle. Will he do that? I don't really know, but I just see Kevin Holland getting this one done. I think he's better everywhere outside of like technical striking, but he's more powerful, he's more durable, he's got better grappling. I think he has a big wrestling edge, which is weird to say about a Kevin Holland fight, but I really think if he wanted to, he could just take down Michael Venom Page at will. But yeah, I got Kevin Holland getting this one done. The other fight that got announced, Peter Yan versus Song Yadong. I know Peter Yan's on a losing streak, and everyone's going to be like, oh, he's definitely going to get run through. But if you look at the guys he lost to, like, arguably beat Aljamain Sterling in that fight, arguably beat Sean O'Malley in that fight. The only one to really run through him is Marab Dvalishvili. And, like, Marab is, like, a completely, like, absolutely fucking different stylistic matchup that Song Yadong. Song Yadong isn't going to go out there and shoot about 50 takedowns against Peter Yan. He's not. He's just not. He's not going to have a takedown threat on the feet. Like, he's not going to have a takedown threat that he can, use to utilize striking either. It's going to just be a striking fight, and I like Peter Yan to get this one done. Like, people really underrate Peter Yan at this point because of his losses, but you could argue so many of them fights could have gone his way. Like, people forget, he beat Corey Sandhagen like 4 fights ago. Corey Sandhagen's on a good run at the moment. Like, I don't know, people really just underrate Peter Yan. He is fucking still good. Like, Merab Dvalishvili was just a nightmare matchup for him. Someone who can just shoot takedown after takedown. Even if he doesn't get you down, he can just keep shooting takedown after takedown, clinching you and hitting you. Like, Song Yadong isn't going to have that game plan. I don't like this as 3 rounds. That is like a disadvantage for Peter Yan, but I still can see him getting this one done. You know, Song Yadong didn't look that great against Chris Gutierrez. I know he won every round, but it just wasn't like super impressive. And Peter Yan does have actually really good takedown defense. Merab didn't actually get him down many times. He sort of just hold him, maybe got him down for a few seconds. He didn't really have much control in that fight. He was just shooting failed takedown attempts and punching to victory there, but he did beat the shit out of Peter Yan. I'm not denying that. But I just think Peter Yan's going to be able to get this one done against Song Yadong. Song Yadong locks to Kyler Phillips. Obviously a bit of a different style to Peter Yan, but, sort of tricky on the feet. Peter Yan, once he gets everything going, he mixes everything up so well, and I can just see him cracking Song Yadong on the feet a couple times. Song Yadong's got a good chin, so probably won't KO him, but I do think this is a good style matchup for Peter Yan, but it'd be sad if he loses, because, like, Jesus Christ, what a fucking fall from grace. Then we have Jeff Neal versus Ian Machado Gary. That one's a really interesting fight as well. Like, Jeff Neal has a solid chance here, but I think just that long-rangey style of Ian Machado Gary is going to help him get this one done. Thing with Jeff Neal, he's really good, but his kryptonite, well, not so much his kryptonite, but a lot of his tough matchups are longer, taller guys. Like, got KO'd by Kevin Holland, long, tall guy. Lost to Stephen Thompson, long, tall guy. Lost to Neil Magny, long, tall guy. Shavkat Rakhmonov, long, tall guy. Like, literally, they're the only guys who beat him. Guys who were tall with long reaches. I guess, actually, I don't think Wonderboy's got a longer reach. Oh, they got the same reach. Neil Magny's definitely got a longer reach. Kevin Holland definitely got a longer reach. I think Martin Sano's the only guy he beat who's not that big. But, that's just a weird loss that he had early in his career. But yeah, outside of that, he just loses to like longer rangy strikers. And Ian Machado is that in spades. Maybe he does have a smaller reach than Jeff Neal, but I think his length with his kicks and everything will probably get him this one done. Like, he could just sort of fight on the outside for this fight. But if Jeff Neal does hit him, he can crack him. Ian Gary's chin isn't that good. He drops his hands a lot. So, Jeff Neal definitely is a live dog in this fight. But it's also what Jeff Neal's going to show up. Jeff Neal is very inconsistent. I feel like he does better against guys who are going to shoot takedowns on him. Like, because then he can, he's really good as an anti-grappler. Like, fighting grapplers is like Jeff Neal's bread and butter. Against actual strikers, he's not as good. He's sort of like the welterweight version of Robert Whittaker. Like, he can take these like grapplers like a Bilal Muhammad. I think he could probably beat Kamaru Usman stylistically just because he's a wrestler. Like, I feel like he does his best work against grapplers. But, yeah, like, if Jeff Neal was in middleweight, like, back in the day, I'm sure he could stuff some takedowns from Yoel Romero. Like, that's, like, what I mean. Like, he could have a similar performance against, like, a fighter that Robert Whittaker's fought. Because he's just good with takedown defense, but against actual strikers, that seems to be where he struggles. Like, Shavkat beat him in the striking. Neil Magny even beat him in the striking. Although a lot of clinching. that was also a different Jeff Neal as well. He was coming off dialysis and everything, but still, I'm going with Ian Gary. But it wouldn't surprise me if he got cracked in that fight, just because his chin really scares me. Like watching him fight, like he's definitely Ian Machado Gary's going to get flatline KO'd in his career. I can guarantee you. I don't know when it's going to be, but he's going to get brutally flatlined just because he's not very durable. His chin's out there. He sort of has tall man defense. This fight wasn't just announced, but I'm going to talk about this one anyway. There's Curtis Blades versus J. Alton Almeida. I was picking him to win this fight before the Derek Lewis fight happened, and I'm going to pick him to win this again. I think Curtis Blades beats J. Alton Almeida. I really do. Almeida's not going to come in there and take him down at will. He's an actual good wrestler in the heavyweight division. I can see him not getting taken down here, especially early in the fight. And if this fight stays on the feet, I see him brutally cracking J. Alton Almeida and knocking him out cold. J. Alton's good. He's not entertaining. But that's not got nothing to do with why I'm not picking him. I just don't like his striking defense. He's been KO'd before, and that was at middleweight. Like now he's going to be fighting a big boy like Curtis Blades, like a massive heavyweight who I don't think he'll be able to get down. He's going to get fucking cracked on that chin, and he's going to get knocked out cold. I feel like Curtis Blades really underrated hands, has some solid boxing. He's powerful, like not just powerful for heavyweight standards. He is very powerful. You know, if this is a guy who flatline KO'd Junior Dos Santos, a wash version of Junior Dos Santos, but still, he has cracked a few people, and I could see him going in there and cracking J. Alton Almeida. So I will be picking Curtis Blades for this fight, but it should be a really good one. Hopefully, we get to see some of that striking out of Almeida if it stays on the feet. He said he was going to test out his striking when he was originally booked against Curtis Blades, so maybe we'll see that here. Maybe he'll go in there and knock him out. And, you know, boxing was J. Alton Almeida's first martial arts, so maybe he'll have some crispy hands in there, but we'll have to wait and see. And then we have Jack Della Maddalena versus Gilbert Burns. Since I've known about this fight, for months. I'm so confident in Jack Della Maddalena getting this one done. Like, I really am. I'm really, really confident in him getting this one done. I know people are going to say, well, he got taken down by Basrul Hafez, and they're going to keep using that. He was going for guillotines. It was very stupid of him to do. I don't know why he does it, why he did it. I'm still annoyed about it to this day. To this day, it still pisses me off, don't worry. But I feel like his takedown defense is actually really good. Gilbert Burns is coming off a fucked injury. He's coming off, he hasn't fought. By the time this happens, he wouldn't have fought for 10 months. Gilbert Burns likes to stay really active, so he's going to be coming in here after a long layoff. He's going to be 37 years old, almost 38. There's a 10-year age gap between them. In fights like this, in lower weight classes, that means quite a bit. Jack Della Maddalena isn't even in his prime yet, but he's so young, he's athletic, he's powerful, he's got the jab, which is the fucking arch nemesis of Gilbert Burns. I just see him jabbing, KOing Gilbert Burns in this fight. Gilbert Burns can give him some trouble, he is strong, but I feel like he's going to look slower. I don't think he's going to look as good. Let's not forget, he did get dropped by Bilal Muhammad. I know Bilal Muhammad's got very good takedown defense, so, obviously he couldn't just go in there and take down Bilal Muhammad, but to go in there and get cracked and dropped by Bilal Muhammad by any means is not like a good look when you go in there against a guy like Jack Della Maddalena who has fucking stones in his hands. Every person I know who's trained with Jack and held pads for him says how hard he hits. He fucking punches like a fucking monster, and you can see it in his fights. He's fought two very durable guys his last fight, so people aren't going to think the finishing threat's there for Jack. They're going to think he's like a point fighter now, but Kevin Holland's very durable, never been KO'd. Closest we've seen him KO'd was a fucking flush headbutt, and he still woke back up instantly. And then Basrul Hafez, who has never been KO'd, and Jack was beating the fucking shit out of him. He almost had him out of there in that third round. But this guy just had so much durability. And it was back-to-back weight cuts as well. I think Jack's going to go in there, and I think he's going to run through Gilbert Burns. He's going to really put on a statement performance. But Gilbert Burns is good, don't get me wrong, but I think age, damage, wear and tear, and everything's going to catch up to him. And I just think stylistically Jack is a good matchup here. I think Burns is a good matchup for him. He can't see jabs very well. He gets dropped by every jab. And I think Jack's going to go in there and drop him with a jab as well. But anyway, that's all I've got to say on these fights that have got announced. So yeah, UFC 299 is looking to be a real stacked card. Let's pray to the MMA gods that all these fights happen still, because oh, fuck it, I don't want to jinx this. But it also makes me think, like, what is UFC 300 going to be looking like? Because this card looks amazing. I don't know how UFC 300 can beat this. So I'm really excited to see what Dana White and the guys of the UFC put together for UFC 300. Maybe I'll do a little UFC 300 card builder video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see me do that. I'm sure nobody will actually comment, but if you do, thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, I'm really interested. I've heard like they were trying to do McGregor Chandler, but there's like a problem making that fight for some reason. I'm not quite sure what it is. But if it's not McGregor Chandler, I have no clue what it's going to be because I had heard GSP versus Nick Diaz was going to be for that card, but then GSP's apparently not going to fight now, so I'm not sure. Not that I want it to be main event, but maybe they do like Nick Diaz versus Matt Brown. That'd be a cool little like legends bout. Like there's a few fights you could do. I feel like they're gonna bring back a bunch of legends. That'd be my best guess. The only thing that could really beat a McGregor main event, like for hype or just like pay-per-views, would be like Brock Lesnar. But he's like 48 years old now, so there's no way he's gonna come back. I know they tried to get him to fight Tom Aspinall, but obviously that didn't happen. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens, but yeah, it should be exciting, but I don't know how they're going to beat this card, so I look forward to seeing what they attempt. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like. Let me know your thoughts on the card overall. And if you're not already subscribed, subscribe. Put on the notifications, share this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.